Ready to go? Ready to roll? Okay.
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Taft-Bayrill, and I'm president of the North Reading chapter of the League of Women Voters. And I'd like to welcome all our candidates and our live audience and those of you that are there by cable. And the first thing that we'd just like to remind people is if you'd please turn off your any electronic devices so that we don't have any disturbances. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the League, I'm sure most of you are, is that the League of Women Voters prides itself on its ability to host a nonpartisan discussion with our candidates. Members of the board of the League of Women Voters are not allowed to publicly endorse candidates, and by doing so, we feel that we contribute to the most objective candidates forum. We also have invited, as part of this objectivity, we have our moderator tonight, Mary Jane Morin, who's been with us for many years, and she is from the Topsfield, Middleton, Boxborough League of Women Voters, who will serve as our moderator. We wanted to give you, the citizens of North Reading, the opportunity to meet our candidates live, to have the opportunity to see where they stand on the issues. Those who are in the audience tonight will have the chance to ask questions, and we ask you to make sure that those questions stay on target with the position that the candidates are running for. We don't want to make this a negative or any type of reflection on their personal life, but just on the issues. And for tonight's candidates night, we only have one contested race, and that's a selectman. And these candidates that you'll meet in a minute, you'll be introduced to, are here for that discussion. And then we've also invited the uncontested candidates to be here at the end of this discussion period to get to meet you and tell you about their qualifications for office. So without any ado, I will introduce you to Mary Jane Morin, who will walk you through the process. And I'd just also like at this point to thank Bob Therese from the North Reading Transcript, who will offer the candidates the first questions. But Mary Jane will outline our process. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. And thank you all. I'm honored to be here today representing the League of Women Voters for this important exercise in democracy, directly asking your questions to those who would ask for your votes. And I'm going to go over the procedure for tonight before we begin. There are two parts to this forum, as Cynthia said. The first will be a question and answer period for the 4 candidates for 2 positions on your Board of Selectmen. This should take about an hour. When that is complete, each candidate who is running unopposed will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves to you and to talk about the office they are seeking. The selectmen's portion of the forum will begin with each of the 4 candidates answering a question posed by Mr. Bob Therese of the North Reading Transcript. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer, and then each candidate will, if they choose, have 1 minute to offer an addition or a rebuttal. Next, we will take written questions from the audience. Index cards and pencils are available around the room. Questions, as Cynthia said, questions must be addressed to all the candidates, and they must address the candidates' qualifications for the office of selectman or their opinions on issues pertinent to that office. The League reserves the right to ignore questions which we deem do not meet this standard. We will also, I already know, be forced to consolidate questions, and we won't have enough time probably for all the questions that will be posed. We must also reject questions that we cannot read, so please be careful with your handwriting. If you have a question, raise your hand, and this woman in red, Meg in red, will pick it up. We're going to rotate the order of the candidates answering the questions. I have a rotation set out, but it certainly has happened that I've gotten confused, so if I make a mistake, feel free to let me know. And finally, in the interest of time, please refrain from any applause until the section is over. We're going to ask questions probably till about 8:20. Then each candidate will have 5 minutes for a closing statement. And then, when this is done, we'll hear from the unopposed candidates, and I urge you to please stay around and listen to these individuals. They've stepped forward to take on some responsibilities, and they don't always get as much attention as they should. So now, Mr. Therese.
Let's start at the end of the table with loggers and work our way down.
That's how I have the rotation. So the question, you're going to ask one question that everyone's going to answer, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my plan.
The rising cost of town employee health insurance threaten to sink the town budget every year. What specific measures would you favor to bring health insurance costs under control while protecting the employees' access to quality health care?
And again, we'll start with Mr. Messeri, and you have 2 minutes.